All right, looks like we're live. It's Tuesday, October 12th, talking stocks with Coach B. Thank you everyone who's joining me early this morning. Um, and I saw we had your pal Al in here earlier. Said, put me in, coach. I'm ready to trade. That cracked me up. Um, Kenneth Wallace, what's up? Taco Tuesday, let's go. 6-8 Spindrift, good morning. What's going on? So a lot going on this morning, and actually, the first one I want to bring up is BNGO, real quick. So, anyone who's been following knows that's been a long-term swing trade of mine. I exited BNGO somewhere around, I think like $5.40 when the SPY started coming down. And just said I was going to put my cash on the table until I started seeing the market reverse, kind of like I did with DraftKings and some other plays. But I actually, just now before we started the stream, got back into BNGO right here around VWAP at about 532 for a back, like basically entered my long-term swing again. They got some news this morning. Biogenomics to acquire Biodiscovery for consideration of up to $100 million. Bionanogenomics says the buy brings potential for significant new growth opportunities in life science research. Clinical setting on launch of NX Clinical Solution. Basically, they got some positive news this morning. This is a swing trade I've been in for a while now. I exited for a little bit and I just got back in this morning at a decent price. I mean, it popped up 10% this morning, but I have a feeling it's going to start running. This is a stock that was 47 cents back in December. I got in originally somewhere around here. Was able to ride it up. Didn't exit at the top, but I think I got out somewhere around 14. And then I entered back in somewhere down here, right around where I'm at now, maybe like sub 5, added on a little bit. And I've just been kind of waiting while this thing's been running sideways. But I have a feeling it's going to pop and make a run to 15 and even higher. So BNGO definitely one to keep on your radar today, even if you're just looking to day trade it. But for me, I got in my long-term swing again. And actually, I got pretty fortunate. I think I might have been off by about 8 cents on where I exited and where I just got back in. So not bad considering I'm trying to hold this thing to, see it triple up from where it's at now at least, and go hit all-time highs. So, yeah, that's BNGO. That's what's going on there. But even beside that, last night was pretty exciting. I don't know any football fans out there watching that game, but these Monday night games have been pretty crazy. And we got what looked like the Ravens having a huge upset ended up coming back, being down by 16 points in the fourth quarter. And I think they even said last night it was the first time the Colts basically were 120-0 when leading by 16 points. In like franchise history, they've never lost when leading by 16 points or more in the fourth. And the Ravens just started putting it together and playing mistake free and passing the football. They were trying to get that continue that 100-yard rushing streak. They fell short of that, but I think the win was probably more important, right? They only had 86 yards on the ground, but really exciting game. And then, me, I'm a Giants fan, and the Giants beat the Dodgers last night, 1-0. So great night last night for me, sports wise. Yeah, so that was. Oh, and then I guess the other big news in the NFL last night, John Gruden resigned. A lot going on there. I'm sure that'll be all over the news today. But John Gruden no longer the coach of the Raiders. So Yeah, crazy night last night for sports. I'm sure there was some other stuff that I missed too, but still was exciting. So let's take a look around. Let's see who's here right now. Zip Jester, what's up? Good morning, good afternoon. What's going on? Kenneth Wallace, JJ, what's up? Pete, good morning. Um, Louis says any might be worth a look. IV's pretty high, but volume spiked yesterday. Low float above max pain. Currently at a resistance level now. Yeah. So it's funny you brought that up. Me and Ghost were talking about that last night on NFL because he's really Ghost is really big on the miners. You know, a lot of the mining plays, and I was just looking at it in terms of kind of that theory I've been talking about on here with, you know, if you get a stock that's got high IV or got all this options chain potential, it really seems like now, more so than anything, you want it to be trading ahead of max pain. Otherwise, you're not going to, you're just going to get pinned there, and they're going to start raking premiums. And any, you know, started the day off yesterday above max pain being at 6, went on a nice run. My understanding is this is a mining play that is going to move with Bitcoin, just based on what I've heard some of the other guys talking about. And yeah, it's max pain's at 6. It hit as high as 832 yesterday. It's sitting right around $8. Um, Take a look at the daily view on this one. And the other thing that I really liked about this chart was, it just seems like almost, like a little pattern. It spikes. You get this kind of little cup going. It comes back down, breaks up, starts a new one. Bam. And it looks like we're forming another one now. And like I said, it is trading past max pain right now. So I don't think that's anything to be too concerned about. Also, the other thing that I noticed, I wouldn't necessarily qualify this as a squeeze play because the short interest was like extremely low, but utilization was at 100%. Cost to borrow was at like 43. So it did have some of those other factors that would, uh, cause some forced covering. So definitely one, I'm not entering right now as a swing trade just because I'm tied up in so many other plays, but this one definitely looks intriguing. That's ANEY, and with a recent high at 12, if we look at the option chain on this one, I don't remember what the float size was on this. Let me see if I can grab that real quick. Yeah, it's a low float too, 54 million. So, definitely one to keep an eye on. 54 million. We look at the option chain here. Anything in double digits in the thousands has potential for a gamma squeeze. I think even with 100 million float from what I've seen. So, we're looking at 17,000 versus 2, 10,000, 24,000. It's got some room in here, and it's already the second part of this. It's already deep in the money, with this $7 strike, and it's already got some in the money that are going to have to be hedged. Delta on this is only 0.73. So as these continue to get hedged, as we get closer to Friday, we have the potential to pass up these other strikes. And right now it's trading right below 8. If it crosses 8, this has the potential to maybe move up to 10. So any is one that I think is going to be pretty exciting for the week. Thank you for reminding me about that one, Louis. We were talking about it last night, and I didn't even have it in my notes for today. But IV on that one right now, when I checked last night, it was at 150, and it looks like it's still at 150. So that's not extremely bad when you get into like, when you're talking about normal stocks like a Disney or Amazon, stuff like that, your blue chip stocks, you're looking at like a 60% IV. But when you're talking about these runners and these ones that have potential to run, getting in at 150% IV isn't bad. 200 is what. Now, I never would have said this a year ago, but it just seems like, this year with all these, kind of like retail interest and options and everything else, and we've been seeing a huge increase in implied volatility. And so I think that the thresholds kind of shifted a little bit. When you're talking about these runners, 200% is where I would be more scared to enter in on IV. 150% isn't bad. If I was going to play options on this right now, though, I would probably still go out to, like November. And there's a huge shift in IV there too. Like right now, the October chain is at about 227%. So if you look at, I'll take the $10 call just as an example. Costs you 28 cents and you only have 3 days left. But you come down here, costs you 98 cents, but you have 38 days left. $1.38, but you're paying for 66 days. So it's just something to consider. All right, let's see who else. Noah snuck into the room late. Michelle, what's up? Good morning. Sly Dev. Michael, La Clova Nostra, what's up? Matt Johnston, good morning all. What's up? Yeah, I don't know. That whole Gruden thing, the resignation, we were kind of talking about that last night on some group text, and it's like, to me, my opinion, obviously, I don't know. I don't know what was said or anything, but, it's like, you got a guy saying stuff, privately in an email, and if it was joking, and I'm not defending what he said because I don't even know what he said, but it really starting to seem like, with the NFL, you get on somebody's bad side. It's almost like they collect that dirt on you because they're bringing up stuff that he said in the email from 10 years ago, at a time when he wasn't even a coach. And it's almost like, what are they, just keeping files on everybody? And once you piss off the wrong person, now they're going to come bring up your past. And I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm not defending the guy because I haven't looked into it enough to see what he said, but it just seems crazy for it to come out now, at the beginning of the season when the Raiders are doing so great. They were 3-0. I don't know. Turts, good morning, fam. Good call on Prog. So what I did, I'm glad you brought that one up. So Prog is one that, here's how I played this yesterday. So with Prog, I don't even remember where I jumped in at, but I think it was somewhere around $1.50. Is that where we got in at? I think it was somewhere down here at around $1.50 from what I recall. But I traded this a couple times yesterday. Just really loose stops. I think it was $1.50 because then what I did was I said I was gonna I ended up setting my stop loss at $1.50. I got out at $1.49 later on. After we jumped off the stream, I was playing this 50 SMA, got back in, made a little bit here, got off, jumped in here, and that was the big one. Stopped out again. But late into the day, what happened was, I think it was here, I bought in at 189 or somewhere around there, and I didn't sell. I let it go all the way, and I sold right before the market closed. And I was telling some friends on a text, like, I'm not going to hold it overnight, but I'm just going to exit right before market closed. And so I got out somewhere around here, around 2:30ish. I think is where it finished the day at. But the other cool thing, so yesterday morning, I grabbed some calls on this one. just with some extra cash. And basically, the way I played it is they were up over 100%. So I sold half right before the market closed, right around here, and kept the other half because they're basically free. So usually I won't do that on a volatile play like this, but they were free at that point, and I already had a little bit of profit too. I forget what I sold them for, but I think they were up like 121% maybe. And so it's like I still got a 20% gain, even if or a 10% gain, even if these ones that I held on to expire worthless. So right now, Prog is right back around 211, which even though it's coming down, that's right where it closed yesterday, 214. I think this one's still going to be a runner today, or has the potential to be. I'm looking at the option chain again. What is this, 128 million float? We're deep in the money. Even the dollar strike is more calls than puts. Even the 50-cent strike is more calls than puts. So it's like this option chain is absolutely, 23,000 versus 9, 36 versus 4. We look at the delta on this, there's a ton more that needs to be hedged here, even at this $2 strike. If it can break above 250 and continue to rise, I think we're going to see a little bit of a gamma squeeze. That has the potential to get us to 5 and then propel us upwards. Maybe, I don't know if there's enough there to get us to 750 because that's a pretty decent gap there. But I think getting this $3 strike in the money, all of this hedging has enough to propel us to 5, which should push us closer to 750. Obviously, I'm saying this, I'm not saying go YOLO into Prog. If this thing goes the opposite direction and starts breaking down below 2, you're going to see the opposite of a gamma squeeze, and this thing's going to unwind itself back down to 1. So anything can happen, but based on the numbers that I'm seeing here, I really like Prog right now. I think this has a lot of potential. It's trading above max pain right now. Max pain being 1. So yeah, Prog is one that's also on my watch list right now, probably for the rest of the week. ATER was the other one that had that gamma squeeze potential. It's still below 9. I think it's at 828 right now, and I'm gonna just kind of sit back and watch that one. And if we cross 9 and it gets closer to 950 and it starts moving, then that'll be something that I look to kind of jump into. The other one though, and I mean, there's so many plays right now that it's really hard to be involved in everything. But SDC max pain is $6, and SDC has been holding above max pain now all week. It's at 622 right now. The float size on SDC, if I'm not mistaken, is somewhere around 100 million. Yeah, 104. So, are we still live? Yeah, we are. Almost hit end broadcast. All right. So the float size on SDC isn't bad. It's about 100 million. It's also trading above max pain, but IV's much lower than a lot of these other plays. It's at 136 right now. $6 strike. The only difference is we don't have anything in the money yet. The 6 is actually outweighed by puts. But if SDC starts to pop and starts running and gets above 7, I think this is another one that could run. It's trading above max pain right now. So that's another one that I'll kind of have on my radar that I'm just waiting to see what happens. Are they going to hammer this thing down below 6? If so, I'm glad I'm not in it. But if I see it start crossing above 7, that's another one that I'll be looking to jump into and go along for the ride for the rest of the week, because, all these plays, SDC, Prog, even ATER. It just seems like ATER is getting pinned right now. But SDC right now, we're looking at 43% short interest, 96 utilization, 24 cost to borrow. So decent numbers there. Prog, just to get an update since yesterday. And I'll pull this one over. 53% short interest, 58 cost to borrow, 99 utilization. This is kind of weird though, but Ortex has been acting funny. It's showing a 0.51 cost to borrow average, max, and minimum. That can't be right. There's something funky going on there with Prog. But let's see here. I'll pull CLOV back up while I'm gonna catch up with the chat real quick. Pete says congrats on over 2,000. Yeah, I think I just hit that on Saturday. I was looking, I don't know, I think on Sunday morning I logged into my YouTube for something, and I noticed that I hit over 2,000. So really, really cool. I know it's been a while. I think I hit 1,000. God, this must have been back in June. And so it's kind of been about 4 months. But I don't really pay too much attention to it though. I know I've said this before. Like, it's absolutely awesome. It's kind of humbling too. But I never really expected to be doing this, even live streaming. I talk about it in the past. I've talked about it a lot, but when I first made this YouTube channel, I only had 10 subscribers, and it was just my 10 friends, and I made the channel to kind of communicate with them what plays I was getting in and out of and stuff, and then it slowly started, like building up, and then summertime hit last summer, and I started streaming just because I was home from work for the summer, and the rest is history. It's what it is now, right? Like, we just hit 2,000 subscribers, and I'm really enjoying doing this morning stream too. So I really appreciate it. I wouldn't be doing it if people weren't watching and you guys weren't coming in here every morning. So thank you. See, Zip Jester said, glad I held in with Prog after the drop the other week. Okay, and I just went over that option chain too. So yeah, so I think Prog has the potential of all of these that I just named and mentioned. Right now, it's sitting in the best spot. It's already got 2 strikes, 3 strikes deep in the money, with a ton of more potential on the option chain too. Plus, with everything we just saw in Ortex, to me, Prog has the best setup right now. And Ecom, I don't know if you're listening, but Ecom's the one that kind of turned me on to Prog, I believe. Has been tweeting about it and was in here talking about it a little bit, and that's what kind of put it on my radar. Ooh, Ross Lowe says the date is wrong on my description. Let me fix that real quick. Let me see if I can figure that out. Oh yeah, it is. It says 10/7. So every morning I just grab an old video and how do I do this? We're gonna go here. Oh, edit title and description. There we go. 10/12. Thank you for the update. Got it. It should be updated now. No? Oh, I didn't press save. 10/12. Save. There we go. Yeah, so I grab an old one, and then I just change the date, change a couple things, and keep moving. I must have forgot to do the date this morning, so thank you for that. Andy Smith, what's up? Good morning. All right. TN says, glad you made out good on Pride. Present Minds, good morning. Dennis D, good morning. Noir says BBIG. It looks like it's starting to move right now. BBIG has, extremely low, not extremely, I shouldn't say that. Last time I checked the IV, oh yeah, IV kind of jumped up a little bit. The last time I checked, IV was a little bit lower on BBIG, sitting at about 190 right now. Max pain on BBIG is at 6, and it's trading at 4 or 547. And that's kind of why I've laid off. That's one thing that I've been looking at, and it's like if it's below max pain with high IV, I feel like there's so many plays you might as well find one that's not right. So BBIG sitting down here, and max pain is at 6. Um, they've pretty much been hammering this thing down, keeping it below 6 now for almost a week or so. Definitely, I think all these stocks that have been moving recently, BBIG, one of them, they're worth keeping on your radar. But if it's got high IV and it's below max pain, I think you can kind of throw all the other numbers out the window. I mean, we've seen that with how many stocks now where it's like, we look at Ortex data and get all excited, and talk about, the cost to borrow, the utilization, the short interest. And I mean, BBIG has all those variables as well. But right now, it's sitting below max pain. And so for me, I think, you play prog right now, keep an eye on SDC. SDC sitting right close to max pain. If it starts breaking upwards, I think SDC has room to get legs. But I mean, keep the rest of these in the back of your mind. But just know, like where we're looking at. Like ATER is another one that I think has a ton of potential too. But it falls into that same category now. It's trading down here. Max Payne's at 10. If you want to trade it, I think there's a lot of room for volatility right now. Because Max Payne's at 10, this thing could pop today, run up to 950, end up coming back down. It seems to be finding a lot of support here, at least over the last 2 days. And if that continues, that might be a nice entry point for the longer term. But right now, I see it just kind of trading in this range between 750 and 10. Um, you know, until it doesn't. Once it breaks above, that's when I'll be looking to enter when we escape that kind of that pinpoint, or until IV trades down. This could be one of those cases like CLOV, where it trades sideways for another 3 months. Who knows? Um, I just, one thing I'm learning over in 2021 with these squeeze plays and everything else is we can't go solely based off the numbers. I think when you start getting the option chain mixed in, it becomes the incentive becomes so much more increased as implied volatility rises for market makers to start manipulating the stock and pin it at max pain. So we want to look for those ones that break above it and are trading above it. That's what I'm looking at least. I mean, I absolutely could be wrong. This is just a theory that I've been kind of working on and doing some back testing on and checking out. So that's one of the reasons why BBIG is off my radar right now. Let's see. Bob says you're very informative and helpful. Right on, man. Thank you. I just appreciate. I mean, I'm learning every day too, and I know I say that, and it's not just. I really am. I mean, I've been doing this for a really long time, but I feel like I'm always going to be a student. I'm always going to be learning, and you kind of have to. You got to shift with the times. I mean, um, shit, just like what I was talking about earlier. Like, a year ago, I probably would have never touched anything that had options, any options contract that had an IV over 100%, but it's like, now you have to shift your way of thinking and kind of, and I think things will change too. I think, you know, who knows, by next year, a year from now, um, these squeeze plays might be completely over with. But right now they're providing some nice volatility to trade and make some money off of. JJ says, being new with this, the toughest part is knowing when to get out. Yeah, so I mean, it really depends how you're playing it, right? So if you're day trading, usually you don't want to hold overnight, and you always want to lock in profits. The mindset has to be that you're always going to. Now, I played Prague a little bit looser yesterday because it had the squeeze potential. But let's just say this was a regular, day trade type stock where you were just going to, stick and move and get out. And really, that would have been probably the better way to play this yesterday anyways. Because if you think about it, let's say you bought, 100 shares of Prague yesterday would have cost, no, let's say 1,000, just to make it better, more around them. 1,000 shares of Prague would have cost 1,500. So if you entered in at 1,500 right here, you ride this thing up to 169. That's now worth 1,690. Maybe you set a stop loss because this thing's moving so much. You have a stop loss set and because of the size of these wicks, set a stop loss at maybe like 3 cents, like a trailing stop or something. So now you would have rode this up. It comes back down. You get stopped out at 166. All right, cool. So now you have 1660. Okay. You find your next entry point. Let's say, here on this second green candle when it breaks above the 9. Now you get back in at 1600. Well, you just profited 90, right? So you kept this 90 here. You're getting back in at 1600. Ride it up again at 1690. Stop loss at 166. And you just made another $60. And now you still have now you're at like 1750. But I guess in other words, if you were just holding all day, you're riding through these waves when you're day trading and you're getting out with these stop losses. Or now you can jump back in for the same amount but at a cheaper price than what you sold for up here. So now you would have entered back in over here, let's say at 1600 again at $1.60. Still keeping all that extra profit in. Ride it up to 165. I probably would have got stopped out at 162, somewhere in there, using a 3-cent stop loss. But I think the big thing, I know I'm getting off base here, but I think the big thing is to figure out, you always want to lock in profits. And I was using a looser stop yesterday. But it all has to do with position sizing too, right? So a lot of times the way I look at it, like if you're playing to jump in and out and maybe make 2% on a trade, let's say you put in $1,000 and you want to be able to take out, or you put in $10,000 in that trade, in that day trade, and you want to be able to get like 200 out. That's 2%. So maybe I have my stop loss set at like 1%. Like I'm willing to give up 1% to the downside, but I'm looking to gain 2% to the upside. Now it could keep running, and you could get 5-10% out of that trade. but you have a 1% trailing stop loss. That's one way to look at it too. Now, when you look at this thing from the opposite perspective, let's say you're not day trading and you're more swing trading. I think you should always have price targets in mind and just exit strategies, right? So, like, um, if I guess profit taking is always good. Greed's the biggest thing that'll kill you, and it's still. I mean, I've been trading and investing and stuff for probably well over 10 years now, and that's still something that I struggle with, and it just really comes down to greed. It's like, you're in a trade, and you just got to always tell yourself to always take profits. If you jump into something and all of a sudden you're up 10% on a day trade, take profits. If you're in a swing trade and all of a sudden you're up over 30%, 50%, 100%, start shaving some off on the way up. Maybe sell 25%, and as it keeps going up, sell 25%. As it keeps going up, and just keep shaving a little bit off, because you'll still have some, and eventually you'll have enough shares that are riding for free, and now you can play it loose, and let it keep going. But yeah, that is the toughest part. That's kind of that whole trader psychology, is knowing when to take profits. And I was actually watching something the other day. I forget what it was, and the dude said something that was pretty funny, but it actually resonated with me. He said, if it's worth taking a screenshot and sending it to your friends, take profits. So in other words, if all of a sudden you're in some trade or some swing trade or whatever, and your account is up so much that you're over here screenshotting it and sending it to people and stuff, you should have sold already, or at least shaved off some of that. And that couldn't be truer. Danny did it. What's up? Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Cuckoo Birds in the house. Gunslinger, what's up? Good morning. Shrimply, good morning. I think Shrimply, you're one of the only people that hasn't used a mulligan too in the survivor pool. From what I remember, we were looking at it. There's like 5 of us who haven't used the mulligan yet. I know one is Papa Clove, and I think you were one of the other ones. Yeah, BBIG just spiked right now with some volume. SDC just spiked with some volume behind it. I think those are the only two that I just noticed. I know Noir just mentioned SDC. Volume on Clove right now is at, I don't have mine. There we go. Let's see. Volume on Clove right now is only at 98,000. So not much. Not much. Michael says drink some coffee. Thanks for the reminder. Let's see. TZ says VIH coming back a little for us. Any expectations for it? I don't know. I was actually messaging with Dan in the Discord yesterday, and it's like, I don't understand it. I mean, it's trading below NAV right now, pre-merger. I would expect it to at least get back to 10. I'm not gonna hold through the merger. Okay, so if like I was expecting a pop before the merger, so let's say by the end of the week, something as they announce it, and we get this pop, and maybe we see a nice little squeeze, and we can make 30%, maybe 40%, maybe 100%. Just based off the news and the excitement and the volume that's going to come into it. But the way it's trading right now, it doesn't seem that way. And so, but I would definitely expect it to get back to 10. And my strategy right now is, like, once the merger is completed, I'm probably going to get out. I don't care if it moves up afterwards or whatever. I just don't want to be around for it to start tanking after, post merger. But yeah, this is kind of weird that it's just kind of trading sideways and even down a little bit. So, let's see. Jay Herm said I had clove boredom, so I'm glad you're discussing other things. Yeah, I'm I've just been ever since the SPY started coming down a little bit. Um, I went cash with a lot of my other positions, and I've been day trading a lot, and so we've been kind of scanning in the mornings and talking about other stuff, and it's been keeping me occupied too. I know if you've been around for a while, one thing that I always talked about was that I had to be trading other stocks because I was getting bored just holding Clove, and I still, my conviction in Clove hasn't changed, but I kind of have to keep myself busy. Um, let's see here, Cuckoo Bird. Oh, thermos money for Coach. Yeah, I do need a thermos. I know Michael's been telling me now for it seems like 6 months. I haven't even been streaming that long, but uh, he's been telling me that forever, and I just got to get one and make a pot of coffee, keep it in the thermos, and I'll probably take it to work with me too. But yeah, I definitely need one. Yeah, Danny says Prog's still in play for day trades. Absolutely. I think it could break either way right now. Obviously, I mean any stock could, but it's got a couple strikes deep in the money right now, which could propel it upwards and make this like a huge trade. Um, but yeah, you just gotta. I took all my shares. I sold all my shares last night. I did hold some call options just in case it gapped up. But I'm playing those for free right now because I sold some of my calls too. Um, Looks like SDC has patent news. Okay, so that could be huge for SDC. We kind of talked about SDC a little bit earlier on how it was already above max pain. So it looks like Smile Direct Club, Smile Pay granted U.S. patent titled Mouthpiece for Teeth Whitening. Okay, now that news just dropped about 10 minutes ago. Um, that could end up bringing some extra volume. I'm going to take BNGO off. For anyone who's joining late, I was just talking about this morning how, I had exited my BNGO swing trade with a lot of my other stuff that I went cash on. What was that? Probably about a month ago now. And I just jumped back in BNGO this morning. I think I messed up my cost average by about 8 cents, but nothing huge. So I'm gonna throw SDC up here just so we can watch it a little bit because it is like I said, max pain's at 6. It's close to it, but it's trading above it right now, which is something that at least recently I've been trying to look for. Um, in these squeeze plays, SDC has a lot of squeeze potential. It's got kind of all the variables that you would want in a squeeze. We got a 43% short interest. Um, what cost to borrow is at about 24, utilization at 96. Looks like cost to borrow is starting to creep up. So it's short interest. Um, I think this is about 100 million float stock, somewhere around there, if I'm not mistaken. So not bad. The option chain doesn't really look like it's got any sort of gamma squeeze potential for this week, but it does have enough to kind of ramp up the stock. I would say, maybe to like $10 if it started moving. But it's got to get into it's got to pass $8 first to get that extra push. It's not far away. So this is one that I'll definitely be keeping my eye on. Lisa agrees. Take profits multiple times on the way up, then ride. Michael says, "Congrats on the 2,000 subscribers." Right on. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. David Johnson, what's up? Good morning. JJ says, I think if you classified as a day trader for tax purposes, get around the short-term gains. The best thing you could do is find a good tax person. Uh, I'm not even going to try to give tax advice or anything like that on here, but find yourself. I think the worst thing you could do is try to do your own taxes when you're trading, and because there's so many little loopholes that you could find that'll help you out, and there's you know that someone else could find, I guess I should say. That's, for me, it's so much easier if you're making money and you're being profitable in trading. Spend a little bit of extra money and pay a professional to do your taxes. Figure all that stuff out for you, because I've had some great years investing in trading where my tax lady did an amazing job. Um, and they can also, there's so many stuff where you could like roll over a certain amount of losses for years to come, and there's so much stuff. But my advice, this is advice, have a professional do it for you. Big Nate, what's up? Good morning. Coach, what is your price target for CLOV? Man, I've been asked this so many times, and it's really hard to say, because long term, I see this being a triple digit stock, and I'm not just saying $100. I see this being a stock that I think is going to be trading for $200, $300. Granted, there might be some stock splits in there, where they knock it back down, but I really think this is like a millionaire maker type stock. Now, short-term price targets, I haven't even considered it in a while, but usually I like to look at the option chain as kind of a gauge. And right now, the option chain kind of blows out at about 22 on the weekly basis. Now, if all of a sudden we see some sort of major squeeze like in December, one thing I've been noticing with CLOV is that the December option chain has been getting loaded up recently. And so if we end up getting that crazy price action, let's say like in November, right after earnings, and this thing starts squeezing then, maybe 43, 45, which is kind of the same thing I've been saying since they extended the chain back in June. But I guess, and I haven't mentioned this on here in a while, but the way I'm playing this is like this. If we get a slow, kind of ladder climb, I really don't have a price target, because this is a stock that I want to be in for years. So if it's like we move up to 9, then we move up to 10, and then we go to 11, and this is just happening like month by month, which I'm totally fine with, then shit, I'll just be in this stock until forever. Well, it's trading for $300 a share or whatever else, down like years from now. Now, if we have a squeeze, where all of a sudden we see some volume pump in, some adjusted price target. Let's say tomorrow a price target comes out, CLOV at $18, and that gets the stock moving, and all of a sudden, within a matter of 2 days, we blow out the option chain and the stock rolls up to like 25, 26, maybe even previous highs of 28, and starts falling back down. I'm going to exit and jump back in around 18, where that price target's at. So really, really kind of hard to say, but I guess in the grand scheme of things, I'm always going to jump back in, because I want to ride this thing up as more of a long-term investment. Is 190 an okay stop loss? Yeah, so if you were going to go like with a looser trade on Prog, which actually that's probably not bad. So, and what I mean is, if you wanted to play Prog for like, the squeeze type play, and I see this has potential to not necessarily day trade it, but just buy some shares, because you're not going to be able to watch it throughout the day. I think 190 is a good stop loss, and the reason that I like that is because, you know, really, if this thing falls below 2, we're gonna start to see like a gamma unwind in the option chain with 36,000 contracts, you know, with a 0.62 delta right now. Um, and once it falls below that, that delta is probably gonna fall down to like 40-ish, especially as the day moves on, and you're gonna start seeing a bunch of shares getting dumped. So yeah, so I would probably below 2 wanna exit if I was in for like more of a long term. You know, grab it now and see if it ends up popping upwards. I don't think that's a bad play at all. Al Trades is in the house. What's up, Al? Good morning. What's going on? So, um, it looks like David saying 300. Yeah, I'm talking years from now though, but I'm just saying like this can be like to my opinion, with the tech and everything else with it, this can be like a Tesla type stock, you know, an Amazon type stock. I mean, it's a disruptor. And so if you're talking 5 years from now with Clove, I see it trading 300. I mean, shit, I think the price target, um, from the original IPO, and I could be wrong, but it was something like $1,800 or something like that is what they were saying. Um, yeah, Barack says not selling until we're double that, so like $15. Yeah, I mean it all depends where we're at when this thing really starts moving, right? I mean, if it's just a slow, you know, steady climb, we may never see like a true squeeze. It could just be a slow, steady climb, and if that's the case, I'm just gonna keep holding. Um, you know, but if we see like some outlandish 300% in one day or something crazy like that, I mean, shit, you got to take profits, and because it's gonna come back, it's gonna come back down. I mean, there's not too many stocks that could sustain, you know, a 300% gain in one day. So it just depends on how things play out, you know, and if we even see a squeeze. You know, it could be, like I said, just like a slow, steady climb, and then at some point, maybe a gamma squeeze mixed in where we blow out the option chain or something like that. Um, but really, I think this stock should be probably base out at about 30 at some point and start trading around 30. And that could even be the point where it ends up having a bigger movement out of. But it's just too hard to say. We just got to kind of follow the price action. I'll tell you one thing, I'm not selling anywhere around here. Um, you know, I'm looking for a much bigger gain. If that was the case, I would have exited, you know, everything back when it was at 28, and not jump back in. Um, Day late, dollar short. What's up? Good morning. Hey, so we're almost at 6 o'clock, and I haven't even talked about the stocks that are moving this morning, just because we've been busy talking about this other stuff. So, some of the ones that came up on my scanner earlier, and I'm just gonna check. Looks like BBIG's coming up too. So NTRB, um, 3 million float. I don't know if I would play this one. That's an extremely low float stock, and you can see how choppy this chart is. Um, I don't know. Uh, so we got NTRB. OCGN's one that I really liked that I had written down this morning. Looks like RRG, RRD. And then the other one that I saw, NTRB's coming up a lot. Let's just take a look at those three. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like, I'm probably, in terms of me, I'll be watching Prog today, and watching some of these other squeeze plays, these SDC, ANEY or ANY, I know that's not a squeeze play, but it's got a lot of potential right now. We talked about that one this morning. It's trading above max pain. It kind of has a pretty loaded option chain. Here we got Prog starting to move again right now as we're moving closer to market open, back to where it closed yesterday. And this thing hit as high as 243, I think, 246 yesterday or this morning. A lot of volume coming in there. So, I mean, for me, it's hard to watch too many stocks. Looks like GME's not moving at all. I'm kind of wasting space down here, wasting real estate. So let's take a look at some of these other ones down here. So we had RRD. Matter of fact, I'll put CLOV down here right now, just while we look at some of these other stocks. But Prog's starting to move. AMC looks like it's getting some pre-market volume this morning too. All right, so this RRD, what's going on here? Stock shot up from a close of 493 up to 693, kind of leveling out here at 618. If we look at the daily chart on this, so right now it's going to be looking to open somewhere around this 617 mark. It looks like there might be some resistance here at about 630. 688, 715, somewhere in those levels. But if this thing does, like, let's say, get some legs and start moving and breaks above this 715 mark, you might see a runner there. And even looking back over the last 3 years, the 633 mark kind of seems like it's somewhere around there. Might be some major resistance. This is going 3 years back, so but the chart doesn't look bad. Usually I like to see something that's kind of flows like we're looking at here, as opposed to something that's just way too choppy. You can see it's got some huge wicks in it, which makes for some nice range and day trades. 10% candle there. Not a lot of gaps on this chart either. We had a gap down here. It came back and filled it later. Actually, there's quite a few gaps. It's hard to see with all my other bullshit lines in there. Sorry, guys. But I kind of like this one. Looks like it's popping right now too. What's going on with this one? So we got RRD. Asset management offers to acquire RR Donnelley for $7.50 per share. Oh, all right. So that being said, that's probably not one that I'm going to be looking to. I mean, it's when you have that. I mean, that kind of caps it off, right? Like it may go up to 750, and it's gonna kind of settle in right around there. So I may end up staying away from that. It does look like it's giving some volume though, but I mean that news just broke that it was like right now for 750 a share. So I guess at that point, again, this isn't financial advice, but if you buy it for 630, it's getting acquired at 750, right? I don't know. Either way, I'm staying away from that one right now. Christina, what's up? Good morning. Good morning, Wes. John Head, good morning. Says keep up the great CLOV coverage. Right on. Thank you. I'm glad you're appreciating it. Joseph Scott, what's going on? All right, so the other one that kind of popped up was what did we have here? NTRB. This one was extremely low float though. If you guys, holy smokes, That thing's moving since we just turned it off. So 740, it's up to 1111 right now. I mean, that's going to provide for a huge gap, but with the stock with that low of float, the one thing you got to be worried about is how fast it could move to the downside too. So definitely use a stop loss if you end up trading this one today. Looks like company announced it signaled an exclusive manufacturing agreement for COVID-19 antibody indicator patch. Okay, so um, moving on some COVID news. Definitely. I mean, I know if you guys have been watching these and the whole, like looking to day trade some of these stocks. A lot of room to the downside. Wait for an entry signal. Don't buy right here because this thing can fall all the way back to 750. Typically, what we'll be looking for on a big gapper like this is the stock to start, trending downwards, trying to fill the gap, but then reversing a trend. And now we have this huge potential for, let's say, a run from 9 back to 11 or anything in between there. But definitely be careful with this one. I think the float on this from when we just looked was like 5 million or something. So very small float. So something to definitely be cautious about. Although volume right now is already at 6 million. So it's a small float, but there's a lot of volume going on in there, which should make it easy to get in and out. But if volume dries up, you can really get screwed on this one. We look at the daily chart on this. It's just so wild. Look at this candle. Holy shit. 295 and it ran up to $28 in one day. So who knows? This is what I mean with low float stocks. Then you look at another day where it dropped from 16.89 down to a low of $1. So, like I said, stop loss is your friend. So right now this thing is looking to open up right around here. I'm not even going to try to find support and resistance to stock. It's just so choppy. I would say play this one at your own risk. I mean, it could be a huge runner, but I'm probably going to stay away from this one. It's too hard with low float stocks. You can really get screwed. So the last one was OCGN. You know, I'm not one for drawing lines and all that, but that looks like a huge flag forming. Maybe looks like it's even starting to break out of it. Had a nice day yesterday. Looks like it kept flying up, and after hours hit a high at 946 after closing yesterday at 960 or 769. Definitely has a lot of room to the upside. So it looks like the Indian government approved their vaccine this morning or last night, I guess. But yeah, I mean, this stock I think can provide. It's got a relatively decent float size. Like I said, a lot of room to the upside. Recent high of 1877. I think that was back in that was February. I remember January for some reason, but yeah, this one I really like. Just because it's gonna have decent volume. It's gonna have it's got a decent enough float. You have a pretty nice gap in there where right now it's looking to open up somewhere around 843, somewhere up here. It could come back and fill and then give you some nice entry points, but then this thing has room to just continue to fly too. So if I had to choose one to kind of day trade today, I would probably go with this one or RRD. I'm probably gonna stay away from NTRB. And I usually don't like to get involved in too many stocks. I like to watch one or two, and I'm already gonna be watching Prog. I'm already gonna keep my eye on SDC. I'm already gonna have my eyes on ANY. So I already feel like I have too many, you know. Um, but yeah, those are probably the three that came up off the scanner. Let's go back and throw CLOV up here. We'll talk a little bit of CLOV now as we head into the open. Looks like ANY is starting to move a little bit too. And let's see. Colts blew it last night. Yeah, that was insane. I had Taylor on my fantasy team, and I thought my game was over going into last night, so I got a little lucky there. And then I was playing against the Ravens kicker, and they ended up not kicking because they kept going for two. So I really got lucky, but what a terrible game from the Colts standpoint. It was a great game to watch. It was fun, but they had so many opportunities to put that game away early too, and they let them off the hook for sure. Thomas O'Connell, what's up? Good morning. JJ says, Gree, SPRT holders definitely got screwed. Makes sense as a longer term swing trade. Yeah, I know DeGen, I don't know if he's still in it or not. He's been pretty busy lately. I haven't talked to him as much in, like, let's say the last week or so. But if we look at this thing, I think for a long term kind of swing, it's I'm not getting in right now just because kind of the same thing I said with ANY. I got my money in too many other trades right now, but I don't know. I mean, there's still room to the downside, right? Way down here, but looks like it's came up and tried to break this 60 a couple times recently at that, once in August, once in September. I think it'll have its day again. I know IV, when I was looking at it, kind of started, looks like it's been kind of lowering a little bit last time I checked, and I'll look right now too. IV's down to 117%. It's trading well above max pain too. Like when I looked up max pain on Creed the other day, I think it was like $17. Yeah, it's at 1750 right now, so it's well above max pain. So that's not even a concern either. So I don't know. That's another one that I kind of have on my radar, and it's getting down in that zone to where, IV will be low enough where I don't think like the manipulation side of it will be as big of a factor. Now, the one thing that hasn't really shown up with Gree since they converted it over from SPRT is like it's still showing that only 3% of the float is on loan, which doesn't make sense to me because it was so heavily shorted beforehand and it got shorted even more. So Ortex is like right now showing this thing as a 3% free float on loan. Cost to borrow is still pretty high. They're showing utilization pretty low. So I think as those numbers start to pick up, maybe you'll see more retail interest in it. But I know this is kind of a mining play too. So, it should start popping with Bitcoin as Bitcoin does as well. Faith, what's up? Good morning. Damn. So NTRP ran 290 to 28 with only 1,000. Yeah, I would. That's just, man. Who knows? That may end up, providing the best day trade opportunities today. But if I'm only going to watch a couple, that's not going to be one of them. That just seems way too risky. Do I think shorts are going to attack again on CLOV? I really think we're at that point where the shorts that are in are kind of buried in this stock, and I honestly don't think we're gonna. I think we're at the start of this thing reversing now. I've said that so many times now that who knows? Obviously, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, right? Uh, but I mean, we've been right around here for so long now, going all the way back to July 19th. I think this is kind of like that new bottom. This is that last little dip. Um, similar to this one we saw here. Now, when I say that I'm not saying, oh, the spike to 28 is coming tomorrow or anything like that, but you know, I don't know. I really, even if shorts continue to try to pound this stock down, I don't think they're going to have much success. I mean, we've seen continuous buying coming in and supporting this stock anytime it gets sub 8. Okay, so Gennadi's saying OCGN's waiting on WHO approval, which could skyrocket it. Nice. Joseph Scott had Taylor as well. Sir Horror says, wish I had kept Prague. As long as you made a profit off it, who cares, right? I mean, there's always going to be other trades. And that's the one thing you always got to tell yourself. If you made profit and you were able to put some money in your pocket, there's always going to be another Prague. There's always going to be another SDC. There's always that's just the way the market is. Find the volatility and make some money off it. Says confused on ANY, TD Ameritrade. Let's see. Yeah, I thought it was a mining play too, from what I was told. I haven't looked into ANY at all. I just going off of what I've been hearing other people saying. But yeah, okay. So it looks like in September I just found this. It says Sphere 3D merger target is Gryphon Digital. Starts Bitcoin mining. So I guess Sphere 3D is ANY. They have a merger target of Gryphon Digital, and they started Bitcoin mining somewhere around mid-September. So yeah, so it's a 3D software company that's gonna merge with a Bitcoin miner apparently. Um, I mean, shit. It seems like so many companies are getting into Bitcoin mining now, because it's so profitable. Um, Shit, I looked into Bitcoin mining once. It's just so damn expensive. It uses up so much electricity. But I think if you could do it on a grander scale, you could definitely make some money. All right, let's see here. So with CLOV, I mean, we all kind of saw this price action again yesterday. Just kind of like stair stepping up. Ended up getting up to 828. But then started heading back south. Still finished positive on the day. Um, and now if we kind of zoom in here, what is that? 1, 2, I'll even count that 3, 4, almost 5 straight days of positive price action. I talked about this a little bit last night on the No Financial Limit stream, but we had this crossover on the MACD 2 days ago. We started going green. RSI on the daily is now above 51 or 50%, which is kind of more in bullish territory. I think the next step for me would be a close above the 50 SMA. Um, And, again, I'm not looking at this from a swing trade perspective, but this is where other people might be looking for entry points, right? If we get this close above this 50 SMA, along with everything else, look at how this played out last time. 1, 2, on the third day of green on the MACD, we finally closed above the 50 SMA. That's usually an entry point for swing traders. And now all of a sudden, a couple days later, we ended up having this big skyrocket. So, I mean, this could even be what ends up inviting volume in on this stock, and that could just happen naturally, not without a price target or anything else. I mean, we already touched above there yesterday. If we continue to climb today and close above there, um, you know, I think that's going to invite in some new traders and hopefully bring some more volume into the stock. And shit, who knows where we go after that? I'll be watching. In terms of all the other data, let's see here. I haven't even looked at Ortex recently, but ever since the float size kind of changed, Ortex data hasn't really been as, I mean, it's the don't get me wrong, 16% short interest. Like, I know even when AMC had its big run to 73, I think the short interest was somewhere around 20. So this isn't like the end all be all. But those moves were more due to the option chain and not so much short squeeze, right? And I think you need kind of a combination of both, anyways. Anytime you see a gamma squeeze type potential and a stock start taking off, I don't care who's in this stock. There's 54 million shares on loan that are gonna, people are gonna want to exit out and buy back. But anyways, cost to borrow is still extremely low. Utilization still not, we want to see this above 90%. So we're still not there yet. In that regard. If we take a look at Chart Exchange, which, to be honest with you, I haven't looked at since Friday, so I have no idea what happened yesterday. Looks like yesterday's dark pool volume was about 46%. I'll just turn this on percentage wise. And Friday was 50%. We've been seeing, more than 40% traded in the dark pool for quite some time. Shit, almost for this entire month, with the exception of October 1st and September 20th. We come down here and look at the short volume. Again, more than 50% of the volume yesterday was shorted. 56 on Friday. And that's pretty much, for the most part, if we go back, October 6th, 40, the 5th and 4th, so well above 60. So the stock's definitely seeing some short volume. Definitely still seeing a bunch of buy orders right at the dark pool. So, but that can only be sustained for so long. When, I have no idea. Look at CLOV on Max Pain is still at $8 this week. So if we can get above Max Pain, and get to like yesterday we got up to 828. Take a look at the option chain here. IV's relatively low, like I've been, kind of saying with these stocks. We want to get, IV lower and be trading above max pain. And I think that's when the incentive won't be there as much to pin it there. And that's kind of the situation we're in right now, especially with the increased float size. To me, for like that gamma squeeze potential, we really want to see probably 20,000 calls outweigh inputs. And, for like that gamma ramp, because I mean, shit, this floats, probably double what it was back in June. So, right now we have 9,000 at the $8 strike. We have 15,000 at 850. So if you combine those together, because usually we only have dollar strikes, that kind of puts us there. Same thing here with the 9 and 950, not bad. 23,000 compared to 2,500. I'm combining the strikes right now just to make it a little bit easier. And then, at the 10, 18,000, again, not bad. But then we're missing a lot in here, to really see like some extension in the chain. If we look at a Tradie Ticks option summary, it's been nothing but bullish flow recently. You know, also bullish on their algo. That's 2 days in a row that we've seen that. Come down here and look at these strikes, and you can kind of see on the grander scale across the entire option chain. $11 isn't bad. 12 isn't bad. We probably still need some more at the 12, 13, and even $14 strike to really get that extension to push us through the chain to 15. And then you want to get all this buried in the chain and get hedged, which will push you further and start making this stuff, make more sense to get it to extend all the way through. I just don't think we're there yet. We've been seeing a lot of bullish buys coming in here, though. This was a ton of calls for December. Again, calls for December. That was the $4 strike, the $6 strike. This is a $6 strike all the way out in February. That's for next week. And then out in November at the 9. So we're starting to see some, again, bullish options activity. And just from my experience, like looking back at March, April, May, at this option chain, there's always big buyers that come in and I think are just kind of gambling on CLOV finally having that turnaround and that reversal. And they probably made a shit ton of money in June. And I'd imagine they're the ones that are coming back in and loading this thing up every time it gets low IV, where we're at right now in this like 100% range. So pretty exciting stuff. Let's see. JSOB says solar panels to mine with. Okay. Oh, so you're mining with. I might have to hit you up and see how that works because I actually just got solar installed. So I might talk to you offline. I never even thought about that. But yeah, I just recently got solar installed. I think about 2 weeks ago. So I'd love to hear how that's working. Let's see here. Chef Daddy's in the house. Says gonna be on the bike but listening in. Okay. All right, Chef Daddy. Well, thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. Hope everything's all well. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to look at L Trains. L Train sends out his scanner every morning. I want to see what's up on there. Looks like the only one that's different that I haven't checked out yet was Tara, Tara. It's another one that's popping. 690 to 880. Trading at 788 right now. It's kind of intriguing too, just because it just hit an all-time low recently. FDA clears Proterra's trial in non-muscle invasive bladder cancer. Shares rise. Okay. Let's see here. I just want to check. I always like to check with these pharmaceutical companies, especially ones that are trading this low. Um, uh, Nothing. I was just gonna look like what the utilization rate's at with it and all that, because sometimes, even 10% short interest in a stock like this that all of a sudden is gonna start popping out of nowhere, um, can really make for an explosive move. It looks like the float's pretty low, 9 million. That's kind of in that NRTB range, or in NTRB range, where like play at your own risk type of deal. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna stick with the stocks I previously mentioned. All right, so where we at? We're at 6:26. We got 4 minutes to open. I see that JJ just asked about the volume. Yeah, we're at about 200,000 right now. I mean, this is lower than yesterday. Um, I think want to say yesterday around 5:30 a.m. we were somewhere around 300,000. Um, I know we hit a million within the first 5 minutes yesterday, but any of that could change at any time, right? Like, all right, we're only at 200,000 right now. We get into that first minute or two of the open, we see 800,000, in volume. That puts us right back to where we were yesterday. Um, Usually, you know, pre-market volume is a good indicator, though. Like if you look at, something like Prague is already trading at 17 million in volume this morning. Okay, so keeping that in mind, again, like with let me put this back. So keeping that in mind with Prague this morning, 17 million in volume. Come back and look at the daily view on this one. I mean that's like insane volume for the morning. So yesterday Prague had what, 47 million in volume, looks like, or no, 200 million in volume. Damn, I was way off. It was the day before, it was 47. But with 17 million this morning already, I would say it's probably going to hit just as much volume as it had yesterday. Just based off that. So that's what I mean by it's kind of a good indicator when you look. But like with something like this, where we're talking, you know, the difference between 200,000 in volume today and maybe 400,000 in pre-market yesterday, that's not a very significant difference, because we could see a million in volume come out of nowhere. Um, let's see here. Ghost, what's up? What's going on? We had a good show yesterday. I thought that was, if anyone didn't check it out. So every Monday night, Ghost and I do the NFL show, No Financial Limits. We talk stocks. Yesterday we talked a lot about CLOV and some of these squeeze plays. We talked about Prague, I think SDC, even CEI, a little bit, I believe. Talked about some of the mining plays. It looks like, not to cut myself off, but ATER, SDC, BBIG, even AMC, all getting some red candles all at once right now. Huh. And CLOV. Interesting. A lot of the squeeze plays all at the same time, moving into the open. So anyway, so me and Ghost, No Financial Limits, and then we talk a little football. I feel like my insight on the football games has been decent, but my picks have just been absolutely terrible lately. So don't listen to me pick. Ghost has been on fire. I think he went 5-3 again last week or this week. So, but anyways, go check it out. It's a lot of fun. There was some other people in there giving some parlay picks and teaser picks in the chat, and just having fun tailgating leading up to the Monday Night Football game. So if you haven't checked it out, it should be below in my channel. When you go to the previous videos, and you could even watch some of the older ones. Um, and also, there should be a link down below in the video to go give Ghost a follow as well. So um, definitely check it out. Yeah, JJ says as long as we're close to that max pain. That's the thing. We got to break above it, right? We got to kind of like SDC's max pain is 6 right now. If all of a sudden this thing gets to 650 or something, I think it's got a lot of room to you know, break away from there. And we can too. We just got to get a little bit higher and get out of that range to where it's so easy to pin it down. And there goes Prog below too. So let me take a look here and see where I'm at with that one. Yeah, should have sold those calls yesterday. They were up 120% when the market closed, and now they're only up 30%. But those ones are free. Is GameStop moving right now? Why are my GameStop shares? Huh. That's weird. All right. Where we at? Very disturbed. What's up? Good morning. Michael says, "What's up with VIH?" Yeah, I don't know. We've been was talking about it yesterday. Um, on Friday, it started creeping down, and I mean, shit, it got close to $9, and now it's kind of bouncing back. It looks like it's at 982 right now, but I mean, the merger thing's supposed to be happening, I think, on Friday, and I would have thought that the news of the merger would have made it spike a little. That didn't happen. Um, it's getting to that point I had said earlier. Like, if we get to Friday, the merger goes through, and there's still no kind of spike or anything like that. I mean, I think my cost average is somewhere like 1026 ish or something like that. Or, I've been continuing to average down, and then I bought a little bit more when it dipped below, but I'm just gonna cut it as a loss if we get to Friday with no spike. Because this wasn't a long term play for me. This was, something kind of trying to play off the squeeze. And while it still may happen, I've just seen too many times where, like, after a merger goes through on a SPAC, things start to, head south. Now, that being said, usually these SPACs spike up before they merge, and we didn't see that with this one. So maybe it's going to be playing this the opposite way. But I'm probably, if we don't see a significant spike by Friday, and that's also where all the open interest is in the option chain, I'll probably be looking to get out. I'll probably, now that I think about it, I'm gonna reevaluate the option chain and everything on that one today too, and see if there's any significant open interest past there. And if there's not, oh shit, November looks nice too for VIH. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do some research on that today and really check it out. But right now, my inclination is probably exit on Friday. If we don't see any sort of spike before then, I'm talking VIH right now. Bob C, good morning. What's up? Let's see. Zip Jester says Prog just bounced above my stop loss order. Yeah, I think we were talking about $1.90, so that's not bad if you're if you didn't get stopped out, because this thing looks like it's ready to move again. You know, it's an exciting play. It really is. And let's see where those calls at. I was just saying how those calls were down to 32. Oh yeah, look, now they're back up. 209%, 121%. So I guess I was right in holding. Nice. I like being right sometimes. Um definitely a lot of money to be made on Prog yesterday, and I think we're still gonna have that opportunity today. Um, probably a good entry point here at 211. Now as it's going up to 225. I missed out on that one, but that would have been, I've talked about this a couple times, but my kind of easy entry point is you get this cross above the 50 SMA. That's where I probably would have got in at. But I'll be looking to kind of jump in and out of this later on today. I don't like to get in and out of trades too much, day trades at least, while we're streaming. I know I did yesterday and it worked out, but I'm just gonna watch. I still have these calls running right now. What do we got going on here with CLOV? Kind of an opening range of 811 down to 798. That'll be where we want to break out of today to really get this thing moving. Louis says FAMI just spiked. Let's check that out. Looks like Annie's heading in the wrong direction. Oh yeah, shit. This has been a previous runner too. Is that on news or just? Farmy healthcare subsidiaries receive international certification. So they just got some news a little while ago at 5 a.m. And the stock is moving. So another one. Looks like we're getting ready to break out of this opening range too on CLOV. All right. It's like SDC's kind of coming back down. Look around. BBIG's popping a little bit again. It's up 5% right now at 563. ATER's up 3%, 862. And again, ATER is that one that's got the huge gamma squeeze potential if it can kind of bust through 10. VIH is up not much, but it's making its way back to $10, which is what we want. It's at $9.98 right now. Shit, I feel like everything on my watch list is looking good right now. It's nice for a change. All right, let's see. All right, we just broke out of that opening range there for CLOV. I got about 5 more minutes. I might as well sit here and watch this before we sign off. Oh, I'm gonna have a busy day at work today. I don't know how much trading I'm gonna actually be able to do. But at least I got these prog calls that's just kind of something to cheer on as the day moves on. Prog looks like it's breaking out too right here, so And then SDC's rallying back. So this SDC right now, like if you were gonna play this, if I was gonna get into this one, being that it's still underneath its opening range and it's kind of been back and forth, instead of buying here, I would be a buyer at 620 as it passes 628. That way you can kind of play this breakout like CLOV just got, right? Just something to consider. You know, it's not always like an end all be all, like, okay, we broke above the 50, I'm in, because it can easily just head right here to 628 and get slammed back down. So, you know, you're talking about a little difference of what, getting in at 626 or 629, but that might be the bigger move. That's where I would potentially jump into SDC at. CLOV is moving. BBIG still ripping. BNGO's ripping right now, up 6.8. Nice. Very Disturbed says, "How about that game last night?" Yeah, that was a crazy one. You know, it got to a point I was feeling bad for the Colts. Like, man, they you know, they're sitting at 1-4 now. They're not a bad team. You know, I was even texting that with Al last night, and we were both kind of agreed. It's like, you know, not saying the Colts are kind of like a playoff team this year, but they're a good team. You know, they're a lot better than their record sitting at 1-4. But shit, they just gave that game away. They had so many opportunities to win that game, and win decisively too. And that was the first time I think they said the Colts franchise is like 120-0 and leading by 16 points in the fourth quarter. Not anymore. Now they're 120-1. So that was I don't know. It was a fun game to watch though. It really was. And they've really been having some great Monday Night Football games. I feel like they've all been kind of coming down to the wire like that. So, um, OCGN. Oh, you had the Ravens last night. Okay. Um, yeah, I who did I take this week? I think I had the Patriots, but I think I saw that yesterday too. There was one person whose pick wasn't showing up for the week. It must have been yours when we were looking at the pool to see there was one. So I figured you had either the Ravens or the Colts. So let's see. Your pal Al says everybody looking forward to the nasty rip from Scotty this Friday from Disney. Absolutely, I can't wait either. I know that's gonna be fun, live from Disney World. Um, let's see here. All right, so we're actually at 6:45. I could hear my kids running around right now, getting ready for school and stuff. I'm gonna go check on them. Thank you everybody for joining today. Really appreciate it. Good luck in the markets. I'd love to be signing on tomorrow talking about how Prague went to $7 or something. That'll really make my day. We'll have to see what happens, but you know, I'll be watching Prague today. Obviously, CLOV. Keeping an eye on SDC and ATER still. Shit, it looks like CEI is trying to break out right now too. It's gapped down, but it's that one. So much volatility right now. So much room for you know, to kind of jump in and out, stick and move on these stocks. You know, I think the important thing is just find a couple that you like and watch those and be patient, be disciplined, and get in and out and grab some profits. But anyways, thank you guys again. Um, you know, really appreciate the support. As a couple of you guys pointed out, just hit over 2,000 subscribers, and I really appreciate it. Thank you guys very much. Hope to see you tomorrow morning.